Hello, I think. Hi, I think I'm live, which makes me sound like a rookie, and I'm not. I'm in season 2, episode 6 of my show, Mindset Shifts and the What Ifs. I'm glad to be here with you. I am 10 minutes late tonight because Mercury is in retrograde, and my technology has just been like off the charts weird today, all day. And so here I am. Hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully you can see me. If you can, come say hi in the chat so that you're here and this is working. If it's weird, let me know it's weird, and we'll work that. But I'm glad to be here and excited to come back with mindset shifts and the what ifs today. And I'm actually watching myself on LinkedIn as well, and I think I might just like be moving slowly and really sure. So if you hear and you're watching, you know if you see me and hear me and things are going okay. I see a couple of people joined, but this may be very short-lived if my video is wonky. Anyway, if you've never been to Mindset Shifts and the What Ifs before, welcome. If you're stumbling across me for the first time, welcome. If you come every week, welcome. I am just glad that you're here, and I hope you're having a good day. So if you've ever been here before, Mindset Shifts in the West is a weekly show where I talk about the things that spin around in our heads as leaders, as executives, as people in the corporate world. It applies outside the corporate world, but corporate world was my world. If you don't know me, I am Lauren. I'm an executive coach, and I believe fine is a trap, and fine is that thing that we say we are when we're not fine, when nothing is fine, but we've settled into this place where we tell everybody everything is fine, because if we don't, then we're going to actually admit that it's terrible. My clients generally come to me when they are what they feel like should be the height of their career, and instead they are one of many things. They don't have boundaries. They can't take a stand for themselves. They aren't getting promoted and can't figure out why they got stuck at the director or VP level. They are a CEO, and everything just feels like it's crashing in. It feels like this should be like the best career move, the best time, and instead it's just fine. So my history is that I was an 80 to 100 hour a week worker, VP of HR. I had hit the executive level. It was an amazing job for a year. I stayed in it for 6 and finally realized that I was not enjoying it anymore. I was doing things out of obligation. I was doing things out of fear of saying no. I was doing things out of frustration that I didn't know what else I wanted to do. And I'd been coaching on the side for about 15 years before that, and realized that what I actually wanted to do was take my coaching full time, live the life that I was helping other people live, where I was choosing my time. I was choosing what I was saying yes and no to. I was choosing how to be an executive. And for me, and this is not true for most of my clients, but for me, it was then building my own company and moving out on my own. So that's a little bit about me. Every week on this show, we spin a wheel that has a bunch of topics on it. Whatever topic comes up, I talk about. For funsies, I've also added choose your own topic, Lauren. So sometimes that comes up. So let's see what comes up, and what we find out tonight will be our topic. So I'm going to share the screen so that you can see the wheel. Amazing. And here we go. Amazing. And now we're going to give it a see what comes up and what our topic will be for tonight. Gosh, I love the topic of boundaries. So boundaries comes up very often in my coaching and is really, for me, such an in how we handle our careers. And we've got a weird screen thing going on. There we go. I'm back. Okay. So let's first of all what boundaries are and what boundaries are not. So when we think about boundaries, we very often think about putting up a wall, stopping doing things. And in a lot of ways, boundaries means putting up a wall, a barrier, staying in our own lane, whatever our own lane is. But sometimes it means opening our boundaries. Sometimes it means discovering something new that we've been limiting ourselves on. And sometimes it means shifting our boundaries. That I say yes to this, and then because I'm saying yes to this, I need to shift what I'm doing over here and say no to that, or say not now to that. So as you're thinking about boundaries, as you're thinking about where you get sort of stuck, right? Do you say to yourself pretty often, oh, I can't say no, they'll get mad? Or this isn't really my job, but I do it all the time, so I can't really say no to doing it. Do you find that you are the hand raiser in your crowd? And whether that's at home or at work or both, are you the person who says, I'll do it? Because I've been for many, many, many years of my life. Are you the person who says, wow, that seems like a really cool opportunity or a really cool project to get involved in, but I can't because I'm not skilled enough. I don't have enough years of experience. They told me to wait my turn, whatever it is. All of these things are you putting up boundaries. Now, other people put up boundaries for you as well. So it's not just you putting up your own boundaries. It's also that there lie boundaries in front of you. And so when we're talking about boundaries from a holistic perspective, we often go straight to, I don't know how to say no. So the first thing I'm going to do is give you like a whole bunch of ways to say no. And if you follow me on Instagram or TikTok, you may have seen this. And I don't remember all of them in any particular order. But the first thing is we often say to ourselves, I don't know how to say no. So I'm going to say yes, or I'm going to like half-heartedly say yes, or I'm going to begrudgingly agree. And they'll know I don't really want to do it. They won't know. So the first sort of foundation of boundary setting is learning how to say no. And the very clearest way to say no is to say no. No, in and of itself, is a complete sentence. Now, there are not a lot of people who feel comfortable saying no and not explaining it. And I'm here to tell you it's okay to give a brief explanation along with your no. But that brief explanation along with your no is not, I'm sorry, I feel bad, I wish I could, talk me into it, tell me how I can fit it in. That is not a no. That is a begrudging yes. That is an it will be fine, I'll just do it. That is, I don't know how to escape this, and I'm a people pleaser, also a people pleaser over here, and I'm a people pleaser, so I'm just going to say like, ooh, I don't know how I'm going to fit that in, which is an invitation to be told how you can fit it in. Okay, so we're going to talk through some no's first. Simplest, again, no. No, I'm not going to be able to do that. No, that's not something I'm interested in. No, that's not in my lane. No, our team doesn't handle that. No, that belongs to Jess. And I bet if you ask Jess, he will help you figure it out. No, my desk is completely full right now. No, and I don't think I'm going to have room for it in the future either. No, that's not really my skill set. No, but feel free to check in with my manager to see if somebody else on the team might be able to help you. No, but somebody on my team might be able to help you. Give me a couple of days to check in and I'll figure it out if we can. No, and that's sort of a weird thing to request of me. So now we're heading towards the more audacious requests that deserve a no. No, and I think that's like a really strange thing to be asking of me. No, isn't that something your team handles? No, and I cannot believe you have the nerve to ask me that. That's your strong one. So I just gave you probably 15 or so ways to say no. And if you've been in a position where you've said yes when you wanted to say no, your heart might have been beating a little bit faster when I got to the no you wish you had said. So one of the things that I practice with my clients is ways to say no. And we don't always start with like, you walk into work and you point at everybody and say, it's all over for you suckers. I'm not going to be a people pleaser anymore. We do it in iterations. We do it in bits and pieces. So maybe we don't even start with saying no as we're building boundaries. And when I'm talking about building boundaries now, I'm talking about building boundaries up, building protections for yourself. Sometimes it's just, I'm not going to be able to do this report today. I will have it to you tomorrow. Sometimes it's just getting brave enough to put something on a short delay. Sometimes it's not even saying no. It's just passively stopping doing something. I had clients who do reports and reads the reports. Nobody acknowledges the reports. They put into some like dark folder. And I've had clients skip the report for a day or a week or a month. Nobody says anything. And if somebody asks for it, then they can say later down the road, you know what? I actually stopped doing that because nobody had asked for it and nobody was reading them. And so it didn't feel like a good use of my time or anybody else's time. If you'd like me to re-up them, I'm happy to do that. I can run a report to catch us up from the last time I ran a report. But if this is a one-time thing, I'm happy to do it one time. It just doesn't seem like it's been something that somebody has wanted. I've never had that situation. Anytime a client has stopped doing a kind of report or a kind of response or a kind of weekly update that nobody reads, nobody ever notices. So the no's begin, and the stepping back and the stepping away from the things that bog us down or the things that don't belong to us are iterative. We start slow and then we work our way up. Now, there are other boundaries that we have up that we don't necessarily want to have up. In cases like, gosh, I would really love to work on that project, but I just don't have the time, right? We've set a boundary that we're running out of time, or we've run out of time and we can't add any more things to our plate. So in those cases, sometimes there's a boundary to set or a boundary to ask for help setting from your own boss, from your own team, creation perspective. You take some things off of your own so that you can join this exact. Sometimes you're in a scenario where you imagine, and this could be real or it could be imagined, and it could be real because you've experienced seeing it around the company. It could be real because you experienced it at the last company you had, or it could be imagined because you're making an assumption. Let's say you want to go for a promotion. Let's say you want to take on a big project. To get stuff off your plate first so that you have the space for it allows you to open up this boundary you've set for yourself. Its current state might be, I don't have time or energy or space for this. I cannot take on a single additional thing. I have one client right now that I'm working with who loves the proactive work. Who doesn't love the proactive work, right? But she's stuck in this cycle of reactive work because she hasn't delegated as well as she wants to. And she's starting to learn how to delegate. She's starting to learn how to have check-in meetings with her team team members to ask them, how did this thing go? Where would you have wanted me to step in more? Where would you have wanted me to step out more? At what point do you want to call me into this type of situation? And she's working on that. And it's going to open her up so that she can do these proactive training programs that she wants to do so that she can breathe in the middle of the day. And one of her actions right now in boundary setting is that for 7 minutes a day, and it's not every day, but it's when she finds a little bit of time. A lot of days she works from home, and it takes her 7 minutes to do a lap around her block. And she does what we call a weird walk, which sounds like something magical that I made up, but I didn't make it up. Somebody else along the line made it up, and I picked it up and I enjoy it. And that is for 7 minutes, she is walking around her block and looking for something weird. And until she finds something weird, she doesn't get her head back into the work game. So she walks around the block, and one day she found a couple of little mushrooms, and she just sort of imagined like a little fairy garden. We see all kinds of things. I was taking a walk the other day. I saw a leaf that I thought was a snake. And that's not the first time I've seen a leaf that I thought was a snake. It was a long, skinny leaf, and it was twisted up a little bit. So she goes on this weird walk for 7 minutes, which is like not any time she would have taken in the middle of the day before we started working together. So she opened up this boundary that she doesn't have time to walk during the day and made time to walk during the day. And she put up this boundary that during that time, during that 7 minutes, she does not check her work phone. And she's been successful with it. And it has motivated her to start thinking about what she wants more of. So she's put up a boundary and she's pulled down a boundary. And she's working on delegating, which is opening up a boundary for her that and some things and open up a new boundary for herself. So if you're in the process of thinking about how your boundaries can work, and it could be simple things like, I don't know, I work too many hours and I want to go to my kid's soccer game, or I don't have senior level enough work. I want to have more senior level work and more senior level responsibility, but I can't make room on my plate for it. Or I'm not willing to work more than 40 hours a week, and this company is demanding it from me, and I need to manage that. Or I don't get the support from my CEO that I need, or I don't get the support from my reporting staff that I need, and I am the CEO. Boundary setting and boundary lifting are two really powerful ways to start taking control of your career. A lot of times people will come to me for the first time and they want to know how they can get out of their job and go somewhere else. And when we start talking about it, sometimes it is the job. There are some really toxic jobs, some really toxic managers, and some really toxic companies out there. But there are also some really amazing companies or even decent companies that the work and the job and the career would be better if my clients were managing their own careers better. And so I have had clients who have come to me and they say, like, the very first thing I want to do is find another job. But as we get to talking, they start to recognize that they're not leading the way that they want to lead. They're not boundary setting the way that they want to boundary set. They're not delegating the way they want to delegate. They're not having any freaking fun, which, like, isn't that the whole point of this? Shouldn't we be in our 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s and beyond? Shouldn't we be having some fun doing our work? And so I would say about half of the clients who come to me with job change in mind, and not everybody comes to me with job change in mind. A lot of my clients come to me, they want to stay where they are. They want to grow where they are. Maybe they want to get promoted. Maybe they just want to lead better. Maybe they just want to feel better. So a lot of my clients come to me with the intention of, like, the plain old executive coaching where you are building your skills, building your joy, building your boundaries. But some of my clients come to me with this urgency to change jobs. And I would say about half of them end up staying where they are because it wasn't the job. It was the way they were asking for support. It was the way they were not boundary setting. And again, boundary setting is so often at the core of what we are not standing up for ourselves for. So when you start thinking about it and you start working on it and you start boundary setting and you start, talking to your colleagues about what you need from them, talking to whoever supervises you or to your board about what you need from them, what support you need from them, what headcount you need to build. There's a great opportunity to decide and learn in place how you want your career to be going and how you want to manage the job that you actually have. So I mentioned at the beginning of our conversation that I was a workaholic. I worked 80 to 100 hours a week, almost every week. And people say, well, how could you do that? There aren't even 100 hours in a week. That's not true. There are 100 hours in a week. You do often have to work Saturday and Sunday plus the week, 15, 16-hour days to get yourself to 100 hours a week. So, there's some math there. It was doable. It was awful. It was horrible. I don't recommend it. 0 stars. But before I left to start my own business, what I realized for myself was that I had to figure out how to take control of this. I had to figure out why I was working 80 to 100 hours a week. Who was asking me to work 80 to 100 hours a week? And the answer was me. I was I referred to myself as the vice president of whatever you need. You need something, I will do it. This vice president left and we need an interim leader, I'll do it. Never mind that I had no idea how to fundraise or run marketing or run finance. I'll interim manage. My job, by the way, was HR. My career before coaching full time was HR. And then I coached on the side. And what I realized was that I had this compulsion to serve, which is a little bit like, oh, how nice, I'm a person of service. And a little bit, I'm a martyr. I feel like I'm responsible for everything. So I'm going to take responsibility for everything. And then I'm going to feel bad about it. And I'm going to tell everybody I'm fine. And fine, my friends, is a trap. So before I left that job, and I do this with all of my clients too, before you leave your job, use your current job as a playground. And again, it doesn't mean coming in and just like blasting everything. It means thinking really constructively about how you want your career to be. What has it not being that way? And then what are all of the small steps that we take together with my support? You take those steps so that you slowly build the boundaries that you need, so that you slowly give yourself the gift of time so that you can open other boundaries and you can decide what you want. You can decide how you want things to be. So if this is resonating with you, you are finding yourself in a situation where you just feel like I should be better at managing my own self in my job. I should be better at managing my career. I should be better at managing my time. I'm a freaking executive. What's wrong with me? I want you to know this. There is nothing wrong with you. You haven't done it wrong. You are not doing it wrong. And also, stop thinking that you are the only person who has the answers to you. The best thing that I ever learned when I finally took off my big hat that said, I'm independent, I can do anything. When I finally took that hat off and I allowed someone to help me, I learned that other people are more clever about me than I am. Now, I think I had all the answers in me all along, but I didn't know what questions to ask and I didn't know what to be answering. So to be with a coach who was more clever about asking questions about me than I was, to be with somebody who understood I had the whole I had for myself to get into the 80 to 100-hour work weeks was so powerful. And to learn how to receive help, which is part of being with an executive coach, is learning how to be advised. When you're the leader, when you're the top leader or the second in command leader or the third in command leader, when you are in a position where you are always doing the output, you are always helping others, and you feel like you don't have the time or the energy or the know-how for yourself, it can make you feel like you're not fixable. It can make you feel like what you've got going on is not workable. And that is a truth that we tell ourselves. It is a boundary we set up for ourselves. Lauren, you cannot have any more than this. This is your boundary, because you already have whatever you have. You've gotten to this executive level. You didn't get here by accident. You got here because of the hard work. And now this is where you're stuck, right? It's a truth we tell ourselves. It's a boundary we end up setting up for ourselves. And when we do that, we are right, because whatever we tell ourselves about ourselves are our own truths. And so when we're so in the fit, whether it's that we're in a toxic, whether it's that we've created our own work tendencies, our own people please tendencies, when we're in it, we cannot look at it from an objective perspective. We need somebody else to do that. So my friends, I'm going to leave you with this tonight. If you are in a situation where you're having trouble with boundaries, I want you to come and talk to me. You can send me a DM. You can go to my About section. You'll see a link for setting up a free strategy call. You can go to my website, laurenlefkowitzcoach.com. You can download my free tool, the Fine as a Trap checklist, which helps you see how you've gotten to Fine and how far into Fine you have gotten. Any of those avenues will take you to be able to set up an appointment with me. It is a low stress appointment. The most stressful part is you saying out loud that things aren't going the way that you want them to go, which is like a hard thing to say. But I'm a really easy person to be in a Zoom room with. I am a person who's probably been in your shoes. And I am also a person who's going to be honest with you about whether I think I can help you or not. And I will let you get off the call without saying yes, which is not something every coach does. I do not pressure folks to come and work with me. I will tell you how I work. I will tell you who I work with. I will tell you if I think I can help you. And if I don't think I can help you, I probably know somebody I can refer you to, whether it's a job search coach, whether it's a different kind of coach, whether it's that, we have the conversation and what you're talking about seems more therapeutic. Like I am honest and kind and helpful. The people pleaser inside of me has boundaries, but she never goes away. So if you want to talk to an executive coach who's been in the people pleaser, workaholic, boundaryless, perfectionist setting, I'm your person, and I would love to have a conversation with you. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I hope you come back next week and see me for another episode of Mindset Shifts and the What Ifs. And for tonight, have an amazing night. Thanks so much.